Hey everybody, here we are 3 days before I get my band. I was sitting down making some notes to do a video about that, and I realized I don't think I can move forward with making new videos until I kind of close out this last chapter. I haven't done a video in probably 4 weeks or so, 4 or 5 weeks, and I thought I should probably, for my documentation and for the sake of anybody else who wants to know what it's been like in case they ever have to go through this, for somebody to kind of compare and see what they went through, that I should summarize life with no band after being banded. So this is what I can tell you. It has been rough. I mean, I suppose there's lots of things in life that could be worse if you put it in that perspective. But in the world of weight loss, it was not fun. Let's see where to start. I made a few notes. First, I guess I'll talk about the differences, what it was like physically, I guess you might say. Obviously, I didn't have a band, so I could eat more. And the first few days, you can really tell a difference. First week or two. After that, you could really tell a difference. I had forgotten what my old stomach, normal old pre-weight loss surgery me felt like. And it was weird to experience some of those things again. One example is burping. I'm curious, how many of you don't burp anymore? Have you ever thought about it? I did not burp when I was banded, at least when I was having a decent fill. I think I might have had real small little ladylike burps when I didn't have a fill but still had my band. What I'm talking about is big, big, big belches. And I do that quite often. If I, drink a big glass of water or half a glass of water or whatever, I have really big burps, like man burps, the kind where you score points, and I said something to my husband about, I don't think I ever used to burp like this in my life. And he was like, yes, you did. So he would know. He's known me since I was 16, so apparently I could, be in the contest with anybody who wants to have a belching contest. Another thing has to do with burping. I've never talked about this, I don't think, because it's just too weird. I assume I'm the only person who this happens to, but maybe not. I first noticed this about 22 years ago when I was pregnant, and I thought maybe it was a pregnant thing, but it never quit. And it's not just a coincidental thing that just happens once in a while. It's every night. When I get in bed, I usually crawl in on my right side, but as soon as I turn to my left side for the first time that I've been laying down, I have a huge burp. I didn't when I had a band, but prior to having my band. And I do that again, and it's big, big burps, and you can feel them coming down from the lower part of the stomach and coming up, and sometimes I have to readjust my posture to let it move to come up, but pretty big burps. And so I've sort of wondered if that had anything to do with the reflux. I don't know that it would have to do with a slipped band, but I mean, as big as the burps are at night, I don't know, I would wonder if it would have been pushing anything up, when my band was too tight and things didn't go down at will. But if it pushed up, you'd think it would make a burp too, but I never did have the big burps. Anyway, I don't know, it's just weird, and it's just a little thought that's been coming through my head. Because that's another thing. I cannot pinpoint this to one particular thing. The obvious to me is the flu, but there's no way to say for sure it's that. So, nobody can freak out just because they have the flu that they're going to get a slipped band from it. It's logical that it could occur. It can occur from overeating. It can occur from too much gas in the stomach or in the pouch. I don't know. But that's been probably the most difficult thing, and that I beat myself up about this whole time, is why. And I'm not going to have that answer. I'm just not going to have the exact answer. So move on. And that really is the most difficult thing. I got my lap band owner's manual out this week and was kind of trying to get revived and psyched up and go through all that again. And that was really, really good and insightful and kind of motivating. And I'll talk about that in another video probably, but I just want to keep this to close out the past few months. But in there it had the stages of grief, which most of us have been, had some experience and been trained in the different stages of grief like denial and all that. And so I was reading through it. It's written in there, to talk about grieving over food. But I started relating it to the loss of my baNd and how I feel about that. And so that helped me to work through some of the issues. I had a strange experience when I was getting my lab work done last week. I was sitting there and I didn't feel pumped. I didn't feel great about getting my pre-op stuff done. And the girl was typing and she looked at me and she said, "So are you excited for your surgery next week?" And I almost felt like this rage that came through me. And like I want to say, it's none of your business, or I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to be hateful. And I was nice, but I just said, yeah, I guess. And she was like, okay, like sorry for asking or whatever. And I sent somebody a text that I talked to, and I'm like, I don't know what just happened. This was weird. It just came out of me, It's like I'm here getting my lab work done, and it's like I feel resentful. I've got to get past this. And then when the lab tech called me in and she started working with me, it was fine. We talked, and they always have a lot of questions. Well, what happened? And, did you lose a lot of weight when you had it? Have you gained a lot of weight without it? And, anyway, yeah, well, let's see, where do I want to go next? I'll go with that. Okay. So yes, I have gained weight without it. I've gained about 20 pounds. I haven't sat down and put pen to paper and used a calculator. I am still doing my monthly weights, but I haven't looked back because I don't really want to know. And I know that before Tuesday, I've got to know that. But anyway, it's like, how much weight have you gained since you got your baNd out? And I know people can tell I've gained weight because my pants are too tight. I've had to, draw out some older pants to get my pants to be comfortable. I can still wear the same shirts, but anyway, where was I going with this? So anyway, I got the booklet out, and started going through some of that. So I do feel more motivated, and I thought if I made this video and talked it out, that would be one more step. Most of the day, I felt really upbeat about it and really excited. So I think I'm swinging in the right direction. Tomorrow will be kind of exciting because I get to start my liquid diet. So I'm actually looking forward to that. In the weight gain arena, the way I've been thinking about it is it was kind of weird. It all happened at once. I haven't gained in the past few weeks, and not that much has changed in my habits, my bad habits, I guess you'd say. But it was weird. Think of a sponge, and the sponge is soaked with water, and you put a bowl underneath it, and you squeeze the sponge as tight as you can. You get all the water out of it, and you keep your fist tight around it, okay? It doesn't suck up water even if you stick your hand down in the bowl where you put all the water. Well, that's kind of how I feel about myself. Like when I had my baNd and I lost weight, it was like everything was squeezed out of the sponge. But if you take the sponge and you put your hand down in the water and you slowly let your hand go and give that sponge some freedom, the water immediately starts to rush back in and the sponge begins to swell really fast. But after it fills up with some water, it starts to slow down, and it takes it longer to suck up that last little bit in the bottom of the bowl. So don't ask me why I thought of it like that, but that's sort of how it feels. It feels like my body was just like, food, suck it in. It's not like suck it up like eat more. It was more like my body just, anything I ate, it just grabbed it and pulled it back in me like a sponge, sort of. So, I don't know, I gotta squeeze that sponge out again. Hopefully that will start tomorrow. What else can I say about that? And obviously my eating habits did increase, how much I was eating, but they didn't change like I didn't eat just constantly all day. I was still having my sausage for breakfast, although I'd probably eat 2 pieces of sausage instead of just the one. my lunches were typically a frozen dinner kind of lunch or something like that. But from front time, okay, McRibs came back, so I ate a McRib. I wouldn't have been able to eat a McRib when I was banded. Probably wouldn't even have thought much about it. May have had some of the meat off of it. But anyway, those kinds of decisions. We built a patio and put a fire pit in, and so I was eating s'mores a couple times. But I didn't feel like it was out of control, like I didn't eat big 7-course meals or 3 pieces of pizza or anything like that. In fact, I was with coworkers, and we were in southern Missouri, and there's a restaurant down there that's kind of just in that area, and it's known for good food, lots of food, and hot rolls. They throw the rolls across the room and you catch them. And anyway, we went there, and I personally didn't want to go out to eat there. It wouldn't be my kind of restaurant because I don't like home-cooked meals. Home cooking like mashed potatoes and gravy and meatloaf and fried chicken and fried chicken gizzards. That's not my kind of stuff. Never has been. If I'm going out to eat, I want Italian or Mexican or seafood, something like that. But anyway, of course I said I'd go because they all wanted to go since we were down there. And I looked at the menu, and I couldn't find anything that I wanted to order because it was just such a tremendous amount of food that was in the choices. I ended up ordering a baked potato with bacon on it, and then I did eat a roll because they're known for them, they're famous for them, and I wanted one, and with hot homemade apple butter on it. But still, at that, I looked around the room, and all these plates, and the pieces of meatloaf were that big, I kid you not. The plates were this big, filled with fried chicken. And I couldn't imagine eating that way again, and I didn't. And so I guess that was kind of a non-scale victory, or it felt like it when I left, to think that I hadn't gone to a habit like that. So anyway, I'm proud of myself in some ways. And I think that's it. Got everything on here, and I'm ready to move on and put this part in the back. I don't want to forget it. I just don't want to dwell on it. I want to remember what it was like. I mean, extreme success. Over 85 pounds I've lost with the lap band, gained almost 20 back. But hey, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm going to get there. So I will be back among the banded on Tuesday, and I'll either do an update video tomorrow night after I've done my before pictures, and I'm going to do a lot of things, just like this was getting banded for the first time, because I feel that enthusiasm down in me, and I want to bring it out again. So I will update either tomorrow night or after surgery. So thanks for everybody's support, and I haven't done a lot of videos, but I've talked to a lot of people through text and emails and telephone and things like that, and I so much appreciate your support and your understanding. So I love you guys. Bye.